Hi everyone. Today we're going to talk about a 7th grade lesson over the topic of grief. So, grief is a noun and it means deep sorrow, especially when caused by someone's death. The reality is that you will grieve forever. You will not get over the loss of a loved one. You will learn to live with it. You will heal and you will rebuild yourself around the loss that you have suffered. You will be whole again, but you will never be the same. And that's by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. Sometimes grief can feel like you're running on an empty social battery. It can feel like your heart's broken or that your mind is all jumbled up in scribbles. And what many people assume is that over time your grief shrinks, but in reality, you just start to grow around the grief. So today we're going to focus on 2 books that have to do with the topic of grief. The first is an informational book called Death is Stupid, and the second is a fiction novel titled The Stars Beneath Our Feet. So this first book is kind of silly because it is a children's picture book, but it gives a lot of good information about how to overcome grief. And I know that we're all big kids here, but reading a children's book like this one can get the conversation going because it'll allow us to talk about those big feelings in a much simpler way. So I just want to read a couple of pages from the book really quick. Every life comes to an end. She's in a better place. Dying is not a punishment. Would I be in a better place if I died? Heavens, no. But it mostly doesn't feel fair. Death is not better. It's stupid. So I think Death is Stupid is good because later on, it gives examples of how this young boy starts to overcome the grief of losing his grandma. And he keeps her memory alive by tending to her garden and talking about her with his parents, which that seems really simple, but often those simple things help the most. So the next book that we're going to talk about is called The Stars Beneath Our Feet, and I think this one will be more interesting for you guys. This novel is about a 12-year-old boy named Wallace who goes by Lolly, and he just lost his brother, and everything reminds him of Jermaine. So I want to read a snippet from this first chapter so you guys get a glimpse of what Lolly's life is like. I started to step even faster down 125th Street, towards St. Nick, hoping I could make it to the border before they could catch me. Where I live, it's all about borders, and territories, and crews. When you're a little kid in Harlem, you can pretty much go anywhere and do anything as long as you're careful. But when you start to get old, about my age, 12, things start to change. You can't go everywhere. You got to start worrying about crews. Crews are like cliques, groups of mostly boys and sometimes females who hang out together. Mostly for fun, but for protection too. So, I don't want to spoil anything, but as Lolly progresses throughout his novel, he also learns some ways to help his grieving process. And he finds other activities that help him to grieve his brother in a beneficial way, and he learns that he can create his own future. So, once again, we are studying grief because it's something that every single one of you has already had or will have endured in your lifetime. And being exposed to books that can help you identify those big feelings and find ways to help yourself grieve in a way that is beneficial is going to help you in the long run.